Hallo und herzlich willkommen. Das ist schön, dass ihr wieder geschaltet habt. Wir sind auf This Night nach unserer Schlacht mit dem wirklich. Schön, dass ihr wieder da seid. Wir feiern jetzt unseren Zug Hörg und das. Okay, auf jeden Fall haben gewonnen und wir wollen das jetzt aus feiern im Quarks und müssen da dann noch an die. Hat schon noch mit der Argus gesprochen und Kai Opaka und Captain Nevis und ja gut, geht jetzt weiter. Wir werden jetzt noch das sprechen.
Oh, I'm so glad to see this come to an end. But not as glad as everyone back on Ferenginar. It's a celebration of Rule 35 like no one's ever seen before. I mean, peace may be good for business, but things are really getting out of hand.
Wie?
When word got out that the Gamma Quadrant was open for business, the new Latinum rush was on. Open borders and free trade policies? My husband was practically weeping with joy. Oh, poor Odo. He thought he had his hands full with Quark on DS9. Now, he's gonna have an entire quadrant full of Ferengi to deal with.
Bin mir sicher, er wird diese Herausforderung meistern.
Welcome back. Seeing as this is a private party and I'm in an unusually generous mood, you'll be getting the VIP discount on your drinks tonight.
Sie meinen, die gehen nicht aufs Haus?
Did you take a hit to the head in that fight? I'm in a good mood. Not insane. Half off. Take it or leave it.
In Ordnung. Danke.
That's more like it. Don't take it personally. You could be Odo. His drinks, 50% markup.
Das sollte er besser nicht hören. Oder wegen dem Schwert des Kales.
Not much to tell, really. Lex saw the error of his ways and gave it back. Then I had Drilka let Martok and Worf know we'd recovered their precious relic. A quick handoff later, and the Klingons were off to war. Rom and I tagged along, mainly to see the look on Odo's face when I rode in with the cavalry. That was priceless. If I die tomorrow, I'll go to the Exchequer with a smile on my face.
Natürlich. Und Sie haben da keinen Profit gemacht?
Who do you think you're talking to? Nog? Unlike the Federation, the Klingons know of the value of Latinum. I'm thinking of spending my cut on a smaller moon to orbit the one I already have. I might even name it Odo.
Sie leben gefährlich, Quark. Viel Glück.
Can I get you something?
Oh, jetzt kommt.
I am forever indebted to you. Without your efforts, I would walk the path of exile for the rest of my days. Now, I will help make amends for all that has happened during Zencast's terrible crusade.
Machen Sie das Beste daraus, Kind.
We need to stop running into each other when the fate of the galaxy is on the line. I'd be fine with drinks here at Uncle's bar, or some baseball on the holodeck. That said, I can't think of too many people I trust when everything's on the line. Glad you are here for this.
Gleichfalls. Was werden Sie als nächstes tun?
Starfleet's assigned the Chimera to peacekeeping duty in Herc space. We'll be working with the Joint Task Force to help the Herc get back on their feet again as well. There's a lot to be done, but we want to help them rejoin the galactic community.
Das ist eine Menge Arbeit.
It is, but my crew is up for the challenge. They're some of Starfleet's best. Take care of yourself out there. Don't be a stranger.
Aber das kann nicht sein. Meine Flotte ist ja, meine Besatzung ist ja schon die beste der Sternflotte. Kann ja nicht sein, die beste der Das funktioniert ja nicht. Okay, dann haben wir noch General Martok.
A hard-fought battle and a well-earned victory. And yet, we almost missed it. Our fleet would have never left the Empire if it weren't for the sword's return. Grilka tells me her former mate, Quark, had something to do with that. The sacred blade of Canis, returned to the Empire by a Ferengi. Madness!
Ihr derzeitiger Partner spielt ebenfalls eine.
Yes, it was Worf's idea to ignite the beacon of Canis. A bold move, but it paid off. Only a coward could refuse such a call to arms.
In der Tat.
The legend of Canis is stronger than ever. It would not surprise me if the High Council moved to create a new clone of the Emperor. There is great power in legend, after all.
In der Tat. Bis zum nächsten Mal.
Interesting. There's a message from Garrick on my monitor here. Text only. He wants you to meet him at his old tailor shop. Maybe he's had enough of politics and wants to get back in the fashion game. Probably more profitable and easier on the nerves.
Das scheint unwahrscheinlich.
I wouldn't keep him waiting if I were you. He looks for secrets when he gets bored, and trust me, he's not the person you want poking around in your business.
Sollte nachsehen, was. Oh, ein Dabo heute. Abo-Tisch. Okay, wo ist der Schneider? Ah, Gags.
The conflict may be over, but there's still plenty of work to be done. The Lucari have offered to help the Herc restore their homeworld's ecosystem, and they've accepted. Dr. Bashir will be working with us on this. It's our goal to ensure that no Herc will go without nourishment again.
Ein ehrenwertes Ziel.
Some time ago, I hoped for a path to peaceful resolution to our troubles with the Herc. I'm happy to be part of such a solution, at last. Thank you for your efforts in getting us all to this point, to peace.
Gern geschehen, gute Reise, Kind.
Thank you for meeting me here. Strangely, I find it easy to center myself in this shop, even relax.
Vielleicht sind das die Erinnerungen an ein einfacheres.
Quite so. Cardassia is about to begin a new journey, as it were, and I'll be going along for the ride.
Spannend.
Oh, it is. Cardassia has been offered membership in the Alliance, and we've accepted. Our seat at the table was hard-earned, but we're ready and grateful to join the ongoing efforts. Officer exchange programs have already begun. In fact, I suspect you'll be seeing more Cardassian faces in the future. I hope you show them the same courtesy as you've shown me in our shared adventures.
Natürlich. Und wo werden Sie währenddessen sein?
Oh, I'll be spending time on Earth, Kronos, and New Romulus. The life of an ambassador is never dull, after all. Someone needs to make sure the Alliance doesn't forget about Cardassia, and I suppose that someone is me. I'll be sure to follow your exploits, of course. They'll be far more entertaining than economic forecasts and state functions, to be sure.
Danke. Schätze ich mal.
I believe our fearless leaders would like to have a word with you next.
Ich werde ja nicht fragen, woher Sie das wissen. Man sieht sich. Okay. Mal an.
The Havas Cool sector has been designated as independent from the Dominion, and a Herc neutral zone has been established around it. The Empire will join the Federation and the Republic in keeping the peace between the Dominion and the Herc. We have experience in enforcing a neutral zone after all.
In der Tat.
Martok's use of the beacon and the return of the blade has led to a renewed interest in Kalis throughout the Empire. Some say that Martok stands with honor next to great heroes like Tukuvma, Vok, Laurel, and Kang. As if getting along with a stubborn old Targ wasn't difficult enough. His ego will be larger than Mount Hamar at this rate. It is fortunate that Martok has little in the way of political aspirations. Otherwise, I may need to kill him. Again.
Die beiden machen das Imperium stärker, Kanzler.
I have initiated a dialogue between the Dominion and the Karema. In light of recent events, I feel it is imperative that their conflict is resolved peacefully. Whether that results in an independent Karema or not remains to be seen, but I shall endeavor to help them reach a result that is beneficial for both parties.
Das wird nicht einfach.
There have been some significant diplomatic events since your return from the Gamma Quadrant. First, the Dominion is joining the Alliance. Having them as allies will take some getting used to, but the opportunity was too great to ignore.
Stimme ich Ihre Einsicht.
As a condition to joining the Alliance, we requested that the Founders take steps to free the Jem'Hadar from their addiction to Ketracel White. I'm happy to say that Ambassador Odo is inclined to comply with that request. It will make things interesting in the Gamma Quadrant, to be sure. Still, it's been a long time coming. The Jem'Hadar should be able to live their lives freely.
Birgt ein gewisses Risiko. Wir sollten es eigentlich. Botschafter und Dann gehen wir nochmal zurück.
Things are finally settling down around here. Well, as much as it ever settles down, that is.
Tragen noch immer eine Uniform.
Well, there's a lot to be done with the Herc, and being part of Starfleet will help me make things happen in that regard. When I'm not here, I'll be working with the Lucari and the crew of the USS Aventine to help the Herc get back on their feet.
Harvest Cool ist für Sie ein langer Weg nach Hause.
Indeed, but I happen to be married to the captain of the Aventine, so it won't be, too bad. The kids won't be joining us until Kumake and her team restore Havas Cool to a more habitable state, however. I'm sure we'll see each other again soon. But until then, be safe out there. Doctor's orders.
The Dominion is about to go through a number of changes, liberating the Jem'Hadar from the White, phasing out the Founders' benevolent dictatorship, establishing a safe haven for the Herc. Needless to say, I'm going to be very busy for quite some time.
Alle Veränderungen werden.
No. There are still a number of Founders within the Great Link who will be very resistant to change. I'd like to think they're outnumbered by those willing to take a more democratic approach, however. The last thing anyone needs is a Dominion civil war.
So sehe ich es ihm.
Also, not all of the Herc were cured. We'll be dealing with rogue swarms for some time. I hope we can call on you in the future if we run into that special kind of trouble you have a talent for dealing with. Oh, and speaking of trouble, you might keep an eye on Quark. That little act of heroism with the sword of Kahless will make him bolder than ever.
Alles, was in meiner Macht steht. Hey, Auszeichnung, Gamma-Quadrat. Super. Wir haben die letzte Episode davon abgeschlossen. Und dann können wir ja frohen Mutes die nächste Episode starten.
The future of the Dominion is uncertain for the first time in many years. Without the Founder and her unbreakable will at the center of it all, the Gamma Quadrant will undoubtedly go through a great deal of turmoil. I'll do what I can to maintain order and keep the peace, but it's going to be challenging, to say the least. For now, what matters to me is that you fought for the Dominion when we needed it the most. I won't forget that. And thanks to the Great Link, neither will the Founders. Thank you. I hope we meet again under much better circumstances.
Ularon Energiewaffe. Ularon Ido-Werfer. Waffenschalen gehen. Fahrziele, Moffe geht. Phasen, da ruft dann Kräfte der Hörk als Ule Flusskonserve. Der Tease. Gott. Coole Wissenschaft. Ja, nicht. Prinzip bin ich komplett.
If you'll excuse me.
Einmal den beenden. Bett erstmal. Ja.
Starfleet Command has commissioned another historical tactical simulation, and they'd like you to evaluate it as soon as possible. Ja'ula and her agents were a force to be reckoned with during the war, and were a direct influence on a number of critical events that took place there. This simulation will put you in the midst of one such event. I look forward to seeing your results.
Machen wir. Dann die nicht. Wo kommt ihr? Age of Discovery. Hier. Okay, alles klar. Okay. Ja, wir haben erstmal hier nochmal ab. Gleich nochmal neu einloggen. Okay, gut. Trotzdem war es das erstmal. Wir werden die neue Episode in der nächsten Folge starten. Schaltet da dann auch gerne wieder ein, wenn wir mit Star Trek Online weitermachen. Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen und wie immer gerne einen Kommentar und ein Like. Wir sehen uns in der nächsten Folge wieder. Macht's gut und Wiedersehen.